What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the guy who just watched Sonic 3 in theaters with my son, and it was a solid C+ of a movie. My biggest gripe, though, was the entire narrative builds towards Shadow's understanding of friendship and empathy, and he finally does about an hour and a half into the film, and in doing so, he sacrifices his life for Sonic and his friends. And after this, the only mention of Shadow's martyrdom is Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles looking up into the sky to see the explosions Shadow dies in, and Tails goes, "Shadow." And Sonic says, "You always have a choice." And then he's like, "Hey guys, sorry, I was kind of a dick back there. I love y'all. Okay, let's go party with our friends." Like, dude, Shadow just killed himself for you, and that's all the emotional bandwidth you have for that moment? Like, what the— AKA Reed from Shameless Nerd. I am a recovering contrarian. For much of my life, I deprived myself of things that I felt like everyone liked, because I thought if so many people enjoyed something, it had to be bad and dumb, or because someone I knew and didn't liked the thing in question. I thought, well, I hate this person, so this thing that this person likes must be bad by extension or association. And as an armchair philosopher with no education in psychology or biology or anthropology, but a surplus of education during my degree in philosophy, thinking about stuff and thinking about what other people thought about stuff and thinking that my opinion on what people thought about stuff, people thought about what other people's stuff, I have a theory about this. I began to stop being such an insufferable contrarian during a period of my life in which I made a ton of improvements to my mental health. My anxiety and the severe insecurity that plagued me for most of my life started to kind of melt away a little bit as I did a bunch of work on myself, stuff for another video later. And in my rising contentment with myself, my growing self-love and confidence, and my depression becoming more manageable, I started to find it much easier to take less of an issue with people liking things, which is embarrassing to admit, but for a long time it really did bother me when I bore witness to people liking stuff. And it wasn't until this period of my life where I became aware of that and started to undo years of annoying, egotistical contrarianism. I'm talking like severe contrarianism. Like, I didn't watch a single Star Wars movie until I was 24. I watched Game of Thrones 2 years ago. I just listened to Nirvana's Nevermind last year. I just finished the last Lord of the Rings book. I hadn't tried ranch on pizza until 2019. These things, among many others, are indicative of this weird, defiant drive I had forever to hate things that people liked. My music taste was shaped by this. The movies I watched, the friends I made and didn't make, the food I ate, the hobbies I let myself get into. My entire life was shaped by this negative trait, and in retrospect, I've grown to find that really sad and something I've worked really hard to recover from and undo as I've gotten older. In other words, I just played Red Dead Redemption 2. Have y'all heard of this game? Anyway, here's my theory. Based on mostly A, self-reflection, B, extensive experience in therapy, C, a lot of reading on epistemology and ethics, D, a ton of reading in anthropology and some interesting studies on some cultural phenomena that are related, and E, how much I loved Shawshank Redemption. I bristled when people talked about things that they liked, and in turn closed myself off to the thought of liking whatever it was that they were talking about because I hated myself. I felt deeply silly and embarrassed for being passionate about what I was passionate about because I felt silly and ashamed of who I was. It was a manifestation of depression and my insecurity. And I felt so stupid for loving what I loved that surely whatever someone else loved would have to be stupid too. And surely if someone didn't feel so innately embarrassed of what they loved as to hide it from everyone, then that person was obviously insane or unhealthy or too dumb to understand how embarrassing they were being. So I could never possibly like what they liked. I didn't deserve it. Insecurity is the weirdest brand of egomania that there is. In feeling so low and puny and stupid, you build a view of yourself as categorically different from everyone else. Like, you're the only person in the world who understands existence well enough to understand how stupid and lame you are. Insecurity isn't a lack of confidence, it's arrogance. How dare I think I'm so special as to think I'm the only person to feel like shit about myself? That's not insecurity, that's hubris. I'm such a genius that I've figured out people and humanity and society so intimately that I'm somehow privy to what other people think about me, and they're looking at me and thinking about me? I have found solace in the objective truth that no one cares about me. To clarify, people care about me, my family, my friends, the people in my life who know me and who I matter to in some way. I choose to believe that my cat cares about me, but these people aren't going home and thinking, man, I can't believe Reed likes Pokemon. That's so embarrassing. He was so passionate and on fire talking about how much he loves Wes Anderson films. What a loser. They're not lying in bed next to their partners talking about my likes and dislikes. That's unhinged behavior. And if for some wild reason a person was doing that, that's not a person whose opinion about my likes and dislikes would matter to me in the first place. I'm not that important. And this counterintuitive sort of self-help epiphany is how I started to build confidence. I allowed myself to feel better about me because it stopped mattering to me how careful I was to not reveal myself to other people, and in doing so, the most massive self-imposed pressure was lifted off my shoulders. I do love stuff. I have interests and hobbies and likes and dislikes, and that's cool. So does everyone else. It's cool to like stuff. Building your personality around not liking stuff is like trying to get full off of not eating. It's like being in a desert and trying to fill up your empty water canteen with the thought of how annoying Pink Floyd fans are. Is that too specific? The most important lesson I've learned in surviving severe depression and anxiety is that it's self-perpetuating. All of the symptoms of depression and anxiety are also the causes of depression and anxiety. If I hate myself because I think someone else might think it's lame that I'm writing a book about a magic fox-like creature, A, the only person I'm depriving of anything is me because I'm the one interested in writing the book, and B, I'll never finish the book. I believe that people who define themselves in opposition to what other people enjoy, contrarians like I used to be, are defining themselves in opposition to what they enjoy. And that's a journey you have to go on. We have 80 years on this planet if we're lucky, 70 or so if you eat as many Raisinets as I do. Your egotism masquerading as self-hate is keeping you from the things that you enjoy, not anyone else, and it's killing you. I spent so much of my life not letting myself even consider that I could like something as normal and mainstream as Lord of the Rings, for example. And now that I've read all the books, seen all the movies, and watched every video I could find sharing my complaints about why the Tom Bombadil sequences aren't featured in any of the freaking movies, I have become the exact person I convinced myself I hated because I was secretly jealous of them. To be so in love with an imaginative universe of characters and stories and books, movies, games, shows, all of the cultural touchstones, the things they had in common with other people who liked the franchise and the points of connectivity they shared with those people, I hated it because I was jealous of it. And as a defense mechanism from admitting I was craving passion and connection, I had to convince myself it was all stupid. Because it was either me or them, and it couldn't be me, so it had to be them. And how sad is that? And now, if I could go back to me from 5 years ago and tell him about the unwavering loyalty and self-sacrifice of the lovable Samwise Gamgee, I would want nothing more than to slap myself in the face and tell myself, let people like things. You will like it yourself one day, you idiot. Now, I must admit, I do still believe that there are certain things that exist at the pinnacle of pop culture which are there because they appeal to the lowest common denominator. They reach the highest heights because they offend the fewest people, not because they excite the most people. Certain things do get popular because 50% of people in society are necessarily below average, and that's a massive demographic that can propel some stupid, useless garbage to extreme popularity. This is a thing that happens. I'm not arguing that art isn't to be criticized or scrutinized, that there isn't a gargantuan heap of vile nonsense content that we're subjected to in the modern day. Sometimes things get popular because they're simple and easy, and a lot of people consume that stuff without too much critical thought. Some movies are definitely the plain ketchup hot dog of cinema. Some books, the limitless salad and breadsticks at Olive Garden of literature. Some video games are an expensive, full-bodied, complex red wine, and some are PBR. But I would venture to say that many works of art, pieces of literature, movies, franchises, foods, people, games, bands, hobbies, products, etc., are mainstream because they're awesome, and a lot of people like them because they're really good. That seems like such a painfully obvious, straightforward thought. What an inoffensive idea to claim that at least some things are liked by massive numbers of people because some things are really cool. And sure, some things are liked by massive numbers of people and are not really cool, but you'll never know if you don't try them. And at minimum, you can stop making fun of Twilight fans. They've been through enough. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time.